Okay, good. Just
Hi
get my.
there. Hi there, Jan Copeland with Jan Copeland Coaching, and I am here today for another edition of Real Estate in Real Life with Jan Copeland. And today I have someone who I feel I can call a friend, who I met on Facebook. Ladies, I love Facebook. I keep telling my clients that Facebook is where you will find friends, you will find your audience, people that will be attracted to you, and anyway, so Kathy and I met probably in the Girls Guide to Outrageous Real Estate group
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook many years ago, maybe two. We've been there almost three. But
Mm-hmm.
then Kathy Byrnes came to the She's Unstoppable Live conference last year, the inaugural one,
Yeah.
and met Tracy Tudor, Dottie Herman, and it was just a fantastic time. And so this week, actually, I'm sorry, next week, we're recording this the first week of April. Next week, we're going to have the She's Unstoppable Live second annual, but we're going to have it virtually. And anyway, Kathy Byrnes is an amazing lady, and I'm excited to be interviewing you today, Kathy.
Thank you. I'm excited too. I love this stuff.
Great, great. All right, well, Kathy, why don't you tell us about your journey? How long have you been in real estate? Are you an agent or a broker? And just tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay. I'm in North Carolina, and in North Carolina, you are mandated to be a broker. So I am a broker. I came here from Michigan in 2005. I started life over completely broke. My daughter was the only person I knew. She had just started a brand new career in mortgages, and I was asking if I could move in and have her roommate move out, and she basically support me, which she did. And she actually helped me for 3 years. And because I was so broke when I came here, and it took me about 9 months before I decided to get my license. My family's background is all real estate. My mother was a realtor. I just didn't want to do it. My background was financial planning. So that really helped me in this career. So that was good. And that was 2006 when I got my license. So the market was good. And I was doing phone duty, and I was figuring it out. And I started at one company, and then I moved over to Remax, thinking that that's where the real leaders were. That's what I'd heard at the time. And so I wanted to learn. I wanted to hang around people who knew more than me, because I knew that would elevate me. Yeah. And it did. And so I got a business partner there. I ended up starting a team and really built my business, got into short sales heavy in the tough market, and actually really flourished in the tough market. When others were getting out, it was non-negotiable for me. So I got that going, and about 8 years later, my business partner decided to go another path. We had moved companies again, and that was fine. And then I ended up moving over to Keller Williams for about 6 months, and I ended up joining the team that I'm on now, who 2 weeks later went over to EXP. But it's been an interesting transition through all those years in lots of different companies. But that financial planning was a great benefit for me in this industry.
I think that's amazing. I love your story. So many things. Number one, you figured it out, right?
Yeah.
Said that once the market fell a couple years after you were in, you dove into short sales. And let me tell you something. So did I. I got my SFR, short sale and foreclosure resource designation. I learned everything I could, and I thrived, as did you. So that's great. You figured it out. And then the other thing was that I think it's wise to, in hindsight, to go to different, brokerages. Yes. Because then when you land, when you finally say, thank God I landed, now you know what you really have, right? You really appreciate it. Because like you, I'm with EXP, and it's pretty amazing. Okay, so I love it. I like the fact that you said that you're humble, right? Because at that point, you called your daughter, you're like, hey, can I move in? And I just think that's excellent, because my daughter and I are really close, and I just want to, commend you, because I think even sharing that is really going to be uplifting to the women agents and brokers who are going to be either listening to this or watching this. So thank you for that. Now,
one thing I want to just point out, I was 55 when I did that. I'm 69 now, going on 70. So here's a transition period once again. But for me, it's figure it out. It's always figure it out.
That's right. It's always figure it out and take responsibility, right? Because I feel like you really, ladies, this is huge. I teach this all the time. Not say, make an excuse. Oh, it's my broker. No, it's not. Oh, it's the this. Oh, it's the market. It's the this.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's always going to be that 20% of agents that are doing 80% of the business. So if you figure it out, it'll be you, right?
Right.
So talk to me about, right now you are, we're in the middle of COVID and we're kind of locked down. Some markets were essential, some were not, but many of us are still getting listings, still getting deals under contract, and still having our clients close. So where do you find your happy place in this new place that we found ourselves, in terms of where are you working and how are you keeping yourself safe and things like that?
Well, for me, I love the marketing part. I love this piece where we're on Zoom. I'm on it every day. So one of the things that I did was I was taken back, like, how will I do business? And if I'm wondering, everybody's wondering, not just realtors wondering, the neighbors are wondering, my clients are wondering what's going to happen. I had people that were thinking about putting their house on the market, multiple people. I had people who had houses that needed to be repaired, and they were wondering, like, do I even want people in my house? People under contract, like, also not wanting people in their house. Could they get out of the contract? So many questions. What was happening with the mortgage industry? So I said, I had an epiphany on a Sunday morning when I was also feeling kind of down and I didn't want to really get out of bed. And I'm not like that. And I said, well, let me go take a shower. And while I was taking the shower, I also listened to a pastor in my shower all the time. So, and I was just thinking, hey, wait, I'm just going to do a Zoom call. I'm going to make it live on Facebook so that I'll attract more people. And I'm going to talk about what's happening and how we can think this through, and looking for some feedback from all those people. So I got excited about it. I was energized. I did my marketing on it. I started putting it out there. I did a Facebook Live video that I was going to do it. I posted on Nextdoor. I went into Canva, created the copy so that would be my marketing piece. My brain just fired. It just went wild with opportunities. And so then all the negativity was, I'll figure it out again, right? And so it caught on, and one of our mortgage persons that we work with a lot, the lender, he came on and we could banter back and forth. And then I started to think of other people that I could have as guests. I've already got all next week filled with guests, and I'm doing this every single day from 3:30 to 4. I'm in love with it, because not only does it, you can do a Facebook Live watch party, which I usually do 7 o'clock at night. So I do this at 3:30, and then at 7 o'clock at night, I create a watch party with more people getting on, and you can invite people on, because now they're kind of sitting down, they're bored with the TV, they're going out of their minds again. And so I get more people on there, and you can save this recording and upload it to YouTube and even market it more. So the content is awesome. So from that perspective, I'm excited about the marketing. It just actually charges me, and I'm busier now from that kind of perspective. And what will happen is I will be all over Facebook. All those people that I'm touching are going to say, she's in it. She stayed in it. She didn't panic. She gave us good content. I'm doing business with her.
That's exactly right. I just want to say, yay. I mean, I'm so excited to hear this, because what you're describing is the right way to go. You said opportunities, right? I can do this. And the fact that you are positioning yourself as the caring, calm, confident realtor, getting your mortgage guy, getting whoever else, these other guests that you're getting, and you're being consistent. So you're doing everything right with the opportunity, seeing it as an opportunity, figuring it out. I can do this, making sure that you not only go live and that's it, but you are repurposing it by throwing a watch party. Okay. Yeah. Whenever I do a watch party, you're going to get thousands, right? And so that goes along with my stance of always expanding your audience, always having new Facebook friends, and then engaging with them so that they see what you have going on in their feed and you see what they have going on in their feed. And so you're really serving your local market. So that's just absolutely incredible. Okay. So you are a grandmom.
Yes.
And how often do you see your grandbaby?
Well, pre-COVID, every Saturday night was a given. She'd spend the night. So she has her own bedroom here. It's all set up. And It's wonderful. So I usually get her every Saturday night. Well, right before all this happened, or when it was just starting to happen, my dog got into a little wrestling match with a turned out potentially rabid raccoon in my backyard. So I wrestled my dog away from the raccoon foolishly. I don't think like that, though. You just dive in. It's like he's my boy. So anyway, it's the saliva, ladies, that is the issue with rabies, and I had touched it because I was checking my dog to see if he was cut. So I ended up needing to get the rabies. So, and then I had to go into the ER, which is the only place that you can get your shots. You can't go to believe me, I researched this, I put it on Facebook. I was trying to figure out, I don't want to go in that ER because I felt like I was walking into the fire, right? So anyway, I wasn't, but I did walk in, but my choice was to quarantine myself for 14 days just in case. So I didn't get to see that little grandbaby for 14 days. I chose that. And so I distanced everybody. And so that was a bit challenging, but through Zoom calls and Google Duo, because they don't have iPhone. So we would do that as well. And, and I would drive by and then they'd wave from outside and we'd talk from a distance. So we would do that.
Oh my gosh.
Just figured it out.
But now, are you going to have your grandbaby this Saturday night?
I don't know. I don't know because my son is actually out and more exposed, so they may not want to expose me. So that's kind of what's happening. He's still working. He's a finished carpenter, and he's around other people. So I don't know. I'll take her. I'll take her.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So you were telling me before we started, lastly, that you find yourself, you're a 24/7 worker. You're obsessed, right? And then you talked about your screened in back porch. So is that screened in back porch where you work most of the time, or that you get your respite? Or talk to me about your favorite place in your house. Is that it, or?
Yeah, the back porch, which I cleaned like a maniac last week because there was so much pollen back there. And I am bothered usually a good month and a half this time of year, every year, from the pollen. So I thought, well, I'm just going to clean it. I had a mask on, I got glasses on, I'm blasting all out. And I have drapes in my screened-in porch, which I love for some privacy. I have 4 homes that can look into my backyard, and I'm like, no, I need some space. So anyway, yeah, I did that. But what was another interesting thing was how I got a property listed in all of this, because while I was on those calls that I was doing every day, I was talking about one client who we were debating. She was a waterfront $1 million+ client, and I knew that the waterfront properties are often hurt the fastest. Your higher level properties are hurt in this kind of market. They owned it outright, but I had just gotten them some land and they were building, and that house was supposed to be ready and close in May. Well, now it's July. And we were thinking we were going to put it on the market the end of March, and all this starts happening. And so, and they had her daughter was pregnant with her second child. So we were worried about anybody coming into the house, all the vendors. So we were really vacillating. We decided, you know what, let's go for selling this. And then, but let's be proactive of how we present it. So I had been introduced to Matterport long time ago, but never needed it because our properties with our marketing usually go pretty quickly. Yep. But I decided in this case, I want you to see every square inch of the inside of this house, front and back. And I'm going to present it so that you can see that with the Matterport. And then I'll also have in Google or in the MLS about Google Earth. Use Google Earth to see the whole area. So you can drive the area, you can see the house, you can walk through it, and you can do it. And I was listening to another Zoom call that weekend right before we went live, and they were talking about doing pre-inspections, which is not popular here because you've got 2 different inspectors, the buyer still, so I never do them. So I thought this time I'm doing it. Yeah. And my sellers gave permission. We figured out the safety precautions for everybody. We did pest, we did home, we did water, and we did radon. And I wanted all that done because I knew my clients kept their house up with the furnace, and we could give those reports. So the goal was no one needs to come in, and we don't need to do the due diligence. So we put it live on Tuesday at 3. At 7:30 that night, I had an agent tell me, I've got qualified buyers that I think want to make an offer. I'm like, great. So I was really loving it. Now I'm still quarantined, so I haven't even been to the house for any of those pieces. There's no sign out front. There's no need for a sign out front.
Right.
And there's no lockbox. So anyway, turns out the next morning the buyer wanted to do a FaceTime with the seller so she could ask specific questions around the house. Now normally I never let those two parties ever talk.
I agree. Yeah.
Table, never. So I coached my guy of what he could say, and I coached his agent because I didn't trust his agent. I said, I'm just telling you, be careful. Don't probe my client. We're only talking her specifics of the house. So they did that the next morning. We got an offer that afternoon, which was great.
That's
and we accepted it. So,
yay!
Yes. So then I was worried because it was Quicken Loans. I'm watching the time too. It was Quicken Loans, and I'm like, oh, an online lender in these times. So I said to the agent, tell me about it. It was already pre-approved. And I said, I know you got to switch out the contract. I know it's got to go back to an underwriter. I'm nervous. Do you have plan B? I'm like plan B, plan C, plan D kind of gal. I want to know all my backups, right? So anyway, they got it set up. It is a relocation client. It's a high-level Lowe's employee. So it looks like we're golden. We had some issues with radon. My clients handled that and tackled it already got the second report in. We had issues with the water. We already tackled that and got that handled. So we're closing on the 30th. So I'm golden and my clients are golden. That's exciting.
And I just want to congratulate you again, really, Kathy. That's why I wanted to have you on, okay? Because I can tell just from the brief meeting last year and from our interactions online that you get it done, that you don't have excuses, you see the opportunities, and of course we acknowledge. I mean, in these times I've cried, I mean, with what's going on. And you know, so we have to deal with our feelings, but at the same time, we have to be that cool, caring, calm, confident agent who is consistent, you know, and you are. And so I just want to applaud you. And I'm so glad you shared that story, because the women who are listening to this, whether you're listening to it during the COVID or, you know, well after this is over, I want you ladies to understand and heed Kathy's advice, and I guess not even advice, just her life experience, because this is what is going to have you not worried whether we get another recession, whether the second round of COVID hits, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. One of my favorite words is in spite of, okay? Because there are women whose husbands come home and say, I'm divorcing you. And they're realtors and they've kind of been part-time. They turned into my clients and they're now full-time earners. And so instead of falling to pieces, of course you deal with the emotion, but instead of falling to pieces in times like that, then they rose. They rose and they saw the opportunity. So Kathy Byrnes, how can people get in touch with you? Because I like to connect people. So tell us how we can get in contact with you.
Facebook, I'm Kathy with a K. And the middle part of it is Kloss, C-L-O-S-S, like Santa Claus, except spelled easier. And last name is Byrnes, B-Y-R-N-E-S. But I see it right there on the thing. And that's Facebook. And yeah, join me on Facebook because I like to connect on there. And that works easiest. And although if you want my cell phone, you're more than welcome to call that. And that's 704-881-3930.
All right. Kathy, thank you so much. You're amazing, and I really respect your work and just the way you are. Thank you for being my guest today.
And I have shared you with so many people, and I'm actually excited that you're doing the She's Unstoppable online because I can share it even broader right now. And I think it was such a powerful event last year. I really wanted to be there this year. I'm disappointed we won't be hugging and talking to all those ladies, but it'll still be awesome. And I can't wait to participate in it and benefit from it.
Thanks, really Kathy. Thanks, Kathy. And you know what? I just want to say one thing about that. It hit me today that once we have the all clear, I'm just going to have like a party in Richmond. Okay. And if you can come, it's not going to be having all the speakers, but just like, you know, a party for us to get together. So we'll definitely be invited. All right. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye.